and subscribers, welcome to the daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings. I know it's not been going on a daily basis, but nevertheless, with time being a bit of a short, it becomes a bit difficult with house commitments and office commitments. And nevertheless, let's get talking here. So on this particular cricket show, what I'm going to look at the third one-day international between New Zealand and Sri Lanka, and New Zealand actually doing a clean sweep of Sri Lanka in the ODI series 3-0. And the feature was Henry Nicholls getting his maiden test done and showing different facet of his game, as he has been very successful in test matches. As we know, he has been coming of age as a player, and here he comes and hits a century. And Ross Taylor, the experienced bloke, also hitting a century. Now, the other thing that we'll look at is the other day in Australia, in a test series. And as I said, Ravi Shastri, the coach, and Virat Kohli, the Indian captain, termed this as a much bigger than the World Cup. And why not? You have to, no Asian country has managed to beat Australia in Australia. And so definitely that shows how much Australia has dominated world cricket. But here, India was there to tame them then. So congratulations from that particular series, and also look at Australia as well. So that is what I'm going to do on this cricket, and look at some cricket news as well. But first, let us talk about third ODI that happened in Lanka and New Zealand. Now, score in the first match, as you would remember, if I'm not wrong, they made 371. Here they were 364, and Sri Lanka was set 300, and they were bowled because the Malinga was the one who gave them a very good breakthrough, which he did in the second ODI as well. He picked up Martin Guptill's wicket for 2 of 5 balls, and Munro was sent back packing for 21 of 14 after hitting 4 boundaries. Kane Williamson contributed 55, 65, 6 fours and 1 6, and the score at 147 for 3 at that stage in the 27th over, when Ross Taylor joined hands. Henry Nicholls, the upcoming player, joined hands with Ross Taylor. Now, Ross Taylor was definitely, he was well entrenched at the crease by the time Henry Nicholls came in. And Henry Nicholls took his time. He allowed Ross to strike, but only to a certain extent. After that, Henry Nicholls totally turned it on for New Zealand, as Henry Nicholls really waded into the Sri Lankan bowling. Ross Taylor, as is his usual self, played in the same manner that he normally plays. He hit 3 sixes of the bowling of Lasith Malinga with some real force and timing as well. And his contribution was 137 of 131 Delvis, 9 fours and 4 sixes. And Henry Nicholls was the body. We have always, as a player, who's a sort of a sedate player, and one was thinking that he's tailor-made only for test matches. But as I said, Henry Nicholls unveiled a different facet of his game yesterday in the ODIs. That was to score at a very brisk pace. And not only that, he targeted Nuwan Pradeep to hit him for sixes as well. And all the strokes that Henry Nicholls played, let me tell you, were really hard hit strokes. He was not afraid to throw the willow, and throw the willow at a very nice rate. He played some good orthodox strokes as well. And that is good news for Sri Lanka, for New Zealand, because with the World Cup 2019 coming up, I think Henry Nicholls will play a great part in the New Zealand scheme of things, as he's the one who strengthens this New Zealand middle order to a great extent. And so Nicholls was there till the end with an unbeaten 124 of just 80 deliveries, 12 fours and 3 sixes. Neesham was not out on 12 of 6 with 1 4 and 1 6. And New Zealand totted up 364 for the 50 overs. If you look at the Sri Lankan bowling card, now the problem, as I said, for Sri Lanka and all these 3 ODIs has been how to sort of a really a question mark for Sri Lanka in all the 3 ODIs. And that's the precise reason New Zealand went on to 364. So well done, New Zealand. Malinga was taken to the cleaners. 10 overs, one maiden, especially when he came back into his finals, totally carted by Nichols and Taylor in particular. 10 overs, one maiden, 93 runs and 3 wickets. Chamira, 8 overs, none for 55. Nuwan Pradeep, 9 overs, one maiden, none for 77. Henry Nichols going after him. Pereira, 2 overs, none for 8, which was a bit surprising as to why Pereira, who bowled well, just 2 overs for 8 runs, who was the economical bowler, one could say, under the circumstances. Did not bowl at all later. Sandakan, 10 overs, 1 for 54. Dasun Shanaka, 6 overs, none for 36. And Dhananjay De Silva, 5 overs, none for 35. Now, Sri Lanka were given a target of 365. And as I said, keeping in view the circumference of the ground, which was a bit short, one would have definitely expected Sri Lanka to put a real fist of a fight here, as they have done in the previous two. But I have to say that they started off very well. Nidarshan Dikwala and Dhananjay De Silva combining well as openers to really take full advantage of the power play, as they got 66 runs in 8.1 overs. If you look at the run rate that New Zealand had, they were going at a clip of 7.28. So Sri Lanka needed at a clip of 7.28 to go and actually win the match. And if you look at that run rate, 66 runs in 8.1 overs, so that really tells you that they were much above the asking rate that was required. So, but definitely it didn't really help matters, even though Dikwala made 46 of 37, 3 fours, 2 sixes. Dhananjay Silva contributing 36 of 29, 5 fours, 1 6. And Kushal Pereira also did a good contribution of 43 of 49, 5 fours, and 1 6. Now, the problem for Sri Lanka that it was not well supported. They needed every player to go and contribute. But unfortunately, it was not the case. Kushal Mendis was run out for naught. And Dasun Shanaka, who is a good hitter of the ball, unfortunately could not fire as he played across the line to a spinning delivery from Sodhi, and it was LBW for 2. But then it was left to Tisara Pereira once again to come to the fore. And as I said, on the other day, he got some company from the tail enders, but not this time. This time, Tisra Pereira got some support from Danushka Ganatilaka, who made 31 of 52. But Pereira was definitely doing the hard hitting. He was continuing very well, doing a good job of really slamming the bowling. Because they were 143 for 5 when Kushal Pereira departed. But thanks to Tisra Pereira, who really slammed the bowling to make 60 deliveries with 7 fours and 3 sixes. The score actually went on to the 240 mark. But with his dismissal, really it was curtains for Sri Lanka, as Chamira was out for 1, Malinga for naught, Sandakan not out, not Pradeep was gone for naught, and that is the end of the show for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka were bowled for 150, taking making a clean sweep of Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, with Tisra Pereira's wicket going, the charge definitely petered out. Saudi 7 overs, 146. Henry 8 overs, none for 62. Lockie Ferguson did a good job. 8 overs, no more than 40 runs and 4 wickets. 5 overs for 1 for 34. Williamson 5 overs. He saw the 8.4 overs, no more than 40 runs and 3 wickets. The man of the match, the player of the match was who did a pretty good job by scoring a century. So man of the match going to Ross Taylor. So that was the situation. So that is the end of the series as far as New Zealand and Sri Lanka are concerned. As for the ODI, then they have a solitary T20 which is coming up. James Neesham won't be a part of it because of his injury. So definitely that's the last thing. And Sri Lanka, let me tell you, have been struggling on this New Zealand series on the whole, as they have not won a single match on tour and that is not a good sign for Sri Lanka with the World Cup coming in. So now let's have a look at some at a selection that has been done. As I said, test series against Australia, which no past 71 years. So that has been dominance. So India can be what they did, and there was absolutely no wonder that the Indian coach asked Kohli in the Test series, which was 2-1, as something even more than the World Cup. So one can really understand the feeling with which they have actually made the statement. So definitely kudos to India for doing this to Australia, in Australia, for the first time ever that India has beaten Australia in Australia in a Test series, and there can't be a prouder moment for the Indian cricket team. So now we are talking about the well, I'll be still looking at that subject to time, but now let's talk about the selection that has been made. As you know, the ODI, there's a forthcoming ODI series which is coming up in Australia and New Zealand, that will be consisting of 5 ODIs and 3 T20s in the month of January and February. Now, Bumrah, who has done all the hard work, has been rested. They have decided that Bumrah needs some rest, especially considering that there is West Indies who are coming to India. I think so. I mean, I just need to check on my cricket calendar. Bumrah's place is going to be taken by Mohammad Siraj, the very, very promising Mohammad Siraj, who is a very aggressive young fast bowler, and he is someone who has been selected, and also Siddharth Kaul will be getting a chance against New Zealand, and I'm told that. Siraj has been doing very well against all the countries when he has been representing India A. He did well against the West Indies A. Then against he did well with the ball, and South Africa A. And he has been doing a great job, and that's the precise he has into the Indian team for this ODI tour against Australia and New Zealand. And so that is some news that I do. And as I said, the ODI squad consists of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Shikhar Dhawan. So Shikhar Dhawan will be back, as you know, he's a specialist. Ambati Rayudu, who has retired from Test matches to concentrate on ODIs, and he's been doing a fine job. And he would be definitely wanting to be a part in World Cup team. Dinesh Karthik, who is prime form of his life, one could say. Dinesh Karthik. Yeah, that Rishabh Pant is not figuring, but very, very unfortunate. But it shows that India has so much of talent. Rishabh Pant, who did a great job in this series and became a sort of a public figure in Australia as well. So Dhoni, Hardik Pandya, Kuldeep Yadav, Chahal Jadeja, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Siraj, Khalil Ahmed, the another young promising bowler, and Mohammad Shami. So Khalil Ahmed is there on everything. He's there, as you know, the ODI which are going to be played for Australia and New Zealand, as you know. The T20 squad for New Zealand, well, it's almost the same. Rishabh Pant comes into the team. There is Kedar Jadhav, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is back in both the versions. Prunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya's brother. So this is an opportunity for Hardik Pandya, the Pandya brothers, to play together first time after Hardik Pandya comes back from injury. And I believe they share a very good relationship as well, in the sense they are very, very close to each other. They talk, they discuss everything together, I reckon. Kuldeep Yadav, Uzendra Chahal, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Siraj, Khalil Ahmed, and Siddharth Kaul. Team composition. So that is so. Gains on this series against Australia. One is the pace bowlers have done a great job, so kudos to them. Rishabh Pant, as I said, at a young age of 21, he has already got records. He has become the first Indian wicketkeeper batsman to score a century against Australia in Australia, and also he has also got a record as far as wicket keeping is concerned by taking the most number of dismissals by an Indian wicketkeeper. So definitely at the young age of 21 and having played only a brief Test career of probably, if I'm not wrong, I handpicked the 5 or 6 Test matches, including England. I think I would doff my hat away to this Rishabh Pant, and he is the future Indian wicketkeeper once Mahendra Singh Dhoni retires. There's no doubt about it. And he's such a wonderful guy. He really has the aggression in him, but he's also having the friendly banter as it went along with Tim Payne. It has been something, uh, as I said, Rishabh Pant has become a sort of a public figure now in world cricket because people all know about him as to what he is. So it's really interesting, and it's not only about that. He also comes and makes a statement with the bat, and he shows it with his performance. So definitely, Rishabh Pant has arrived for India for sure. Other than that, well, these are the main gains for India. One was Rishabh Pant was an important gain for India, and bowling was simply superb. So definitely, I don't have much time here to dwell on this. So I think I will have to rest it here right now. My cricket show right now. But as I said, you keep an eye on my cricket tweets, which will be coming up. So on that, speak about the other cricket things that are going on. Let me take a sneak peek by able to, but I think I will be short of time. I think I will have to rest now and promising to see you all tomorrow on the next great show. It's good night from here. Thank you.